guys, this is Raquel with Paints and Glitter, and I'm coming back to you with yet another tutorial for BB Craft with the items that I received from them in the last video that I shared with you guys. And of course I'm wearing some of the bracelets that I made also. I wanted to give you a sneak peek of that. So I went ahead and made another one with the pearls in pink and the ones in the purple. And I'm really enjoying these bracelets. They were fun to make, as I said before. In this case, I added a charm that I just had in my stash. And they're playful and they're comfortable. So in any case, that was from the selection of beads that I received. And then I wanted to show you what I made with these here, which were the lobster claws clasp, as they're called. Let me show you the packaging because they're under Panda Hall Elite. And as I had explained in the previous video, they do have different categories. So if you're looking for the items, you can find them as such. If not, then of course I'm going to provide links for you so that you can get the discount with my code that they have provided kindly for me. This is the clasp there, as you can tell, and it has that pretty heart shape. And it opens just by pulling like that. And I got to thinking with the mini albums and items that I make that I would like to make a tassel. And let me show you what I mean by that. It would fit on the side of a mini album. This is just a sample of a tassel on the side of a book. So you can just place it on the side of a book and then you make the charms as you wish. In this case, what I wanted to do was to create a long one, and it doesn't have to be this long, but here's what I got to thinking was that of course I wanted to use the ribbon that they sent me, and what I did was that I threaded the ribbon through the opening of the clasp, and I'm going to show you how. And then I used some gorgeous applique that was given to me by Deanna Marie in a recent swap. And thank you so much, Deanna. What I did was that I essentially took this beautiful applique that she sent and I wrapped it around the ribbon. And so that way you get the pink and white in a very kind of shabby style. And as you see there, I also tied a bow and I placed it on the outside. I thought that gave it a really sweet finish. And then on the bottom, I also stitched, if you can see there, a little bauble. And now these are available through BB Craft also. So if you like these little, I forget what they're called, if they're bubble beads or something like that, they're available there. And I also did take one of the clear ones that came in the packaging that I selected, and I stitched it onto the ribbon there with gold thread. And what I used was this Coats & Clark gold thread. So I hand stitched it, which I find to be relaxing, but you could adhere it if you wanted to. Here is the other one. What I did was I threaded the ribbon through the opening there, and then I wrapped the thread around it so that it would stay. So that is my charm. To begin making your tassel with the BB Craft items I selected, you're going to need one of the lobster clasps, just like this one. A selection of ribbon. What I did was that I selected the beautiful pink organza ribbon, and this is about 1/4 inch wide. Then I do have a needle here with golden thread, and a selection of beads of your choice. From the selection of BB Craft beads, I also selected this faceted pink one, and what I did for that one was that I did add a spacer on the bottom with a pin needle, and then I created a loop at the top and I added this little part here. So I'm going to start by selecting one of the ribbons, and I'm going to simply stitch the bead onto it. Once I've created my little knot at the bottom of my thread, I'm going to grab one of the ribbons and my little charm, and I'm going to first grab onto that ribbon with my needle, and then I'm going to thread it through the charm like so. And this doesn't have to be perfect, it's just for fun, but you're going to continue creating loops and grabbing onto the ribbon as you sew. Once you're happy with how you've stitched that together, you can then go toward the back and thread your needle through what you've stitched, and then wrap that same thread around your needle 3 times. Hold on to it and push your needle through to create a knot, okay? Hopefully that was in frame. And then you can snip off anything. Alright, so there's the little knot created, like so. And then there's my little charm stitched onto my ribbon. And then if you want to, you can leave, since it is gold thread, you can leave any extra. I didn't mind that at all. Alright, now what you're going to do is you're going to fold your ribbon in half, and at the top here where it's folded, you're going to just wrap it around tightly, like so, just to make it small enough to fit through that little hole. Put it through there and pull on it until you can open it with your fingers. Once you've opened it like so, pull on to those 2 remaining strands of ribbon, and there you go. Now you've threaded that onto your clasp, and there is your ribbon with your little dangle there. So you can repeat the process as many times as you like. I'm going to add some more, and then I'll be right back and show you what that looks like. Okay, so now I am back, and I have threaded through the little hole there of my clasp the 3 pieces of ribbon that I had selected, and I also finished stitching the beads there onto the bottom, and then in between those little loops that I created with each ribbon, I threaded some pearls. On this one I did pearls there. The middle one I did a strand of these beautiful blue sequins, and then on the third one I repeated the pearls. Then I took a piece of the applique that I had cut off, and I adhered it as almost like a neckline there at the top. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to apply a piece of applique, or I'm going to join this onto it. So what I did was that I just cut off a piece that I thought would look pretty on the outside here. So now is when I'm going to add that. I'm going to apply my adhesive here, just a tiny little drop right there, because I don't want that seeping through. So you see that. And then this is pretty white ribbon, and I don't want it to start yellowing. Okay, so I've placed my applique there. And now I'm going to start wrapping around, but we'll see about this one. Okay, so I wrapped it all the way around, and sometimes with things like this that are so thin, the adhesive will seep right through and it'll start adhering all of it together, but if not, you can just add a tiny bit more. I just want to make sure that I get all the way to the other side here, with this being very firm. So I'm going to apply another little dollop of adhesive here, like that, and I'm going to, as I pull that applique, I'm going to keep twirling. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so if you see, it's actually loose there on the top, and then I am adhering it a little bit lower, but what I'm doing is kind of encapsulating those strands of ribbon. Now I can keep going with this all the way around. It'll be a little bit bulkier than the other one, but I think it's going to look really pretty. Just adding a tiny little bit of adhesive as I need it onto the ribbon, and hopefully not onto my finger. Okay. And hopefully I can finish that off quite nicely with just a tiny bit more. Just a tiny more. And of course you could use Fabri-Tac instead of the hot glue. I just wanted to make sure that I could do this for the tutorial and have it finish off quickly. Okay, so there's the end of that. Now throughout, if you want to, you can add a stitch here or there. For instance, to join the applique down here, you can just tack it there with the same gold thread or any other color thread. Okay guys, so aside from this example that I showed you, I just wanted to show you also the finished tassel here, which is the second one that I was showing you guys how to make. And what I did was that aside from the pearls and the sequins, I also went ahead and attached some sequins here by just tacking it on or sewing it onto the little bow. Again, with this with some little seed beads in the center, and I use that same gold thread throughout just to keep it whimsical and mix it up with the silvers and golds and the pearl, the blue, the pink, all of that. And then at the bottom here, aside from these two beads which I attached, I also went ahead and made this one here. And what I did there was that I used a bead that was given to me by the beautiful Carolyn from Teatime and Dolls. So Carolyn gave me this bellflower, and what I did was with some beads that I had in my stash, I strung them through. I added different colors with the pinks and blues, and then I used a crimp bead from the BB Craft kit. And what that does is that it'll crimp or, you know, attach cord there. And then I added one of those jump rings also that came in the kit, and as you can tell, I just stitched it there. So now I have that little flower hanging there on the bottom of my tassel. So I'm really happy with how these turned out. My little bow is it's a little bit wonky there, but I like it. I think it's very whimsical. It's going to be an adorable little attachment to the side of a mini album. And the other thing that I made also, which I didn't do a tutorial for, but I did want to show, were these stick pins. And I used beads from the kit for that. And all you do is, if you have any stick pins, the long pins, which you can find at any store, and if they are available at BB Craft, I'll let you guys know. But you can just string the beads through and then add a little glossy accents, which is this, which can be used as an adhesive, and that's what you can use for jewelry making also. So what I did was that I added the glossy accents to the actual pin and then just placed the beads on there and allowed it to dry. And now I can use them on projects such as little boxes. This is just an example. For instance, here I had used some little sprays there, but you could use something like this in addition to it. As you can tell, it adds a nice little touch to any gift that you might be making, whether it be a card or a 3D item. So that's my project share there for BB Craft using their beautiful products, both the ribbon and the beads. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this and that you can have a beautiful day, be inspired, and be blessed. Bye-bye.